There's a governor.
That was been edited.
Well, thank you, Rudy, for recording this meeting, and thank you, Dan Goodrich, for joining us. My gosh, are we in for a night for tonight? I'm Barbara Mueller, your past president, immediate past president, and I am honored to welcome David Wick. You are in for a treat this year. He has written a letter for leadership using Shekar's words and just quoting up the gazoo about what we're going to do this year. And so you're in for a treat with Dan Goodrich, David, and Rudy and Karen. What a year this is going to be. So with that, I'm going to say welcome, welcome, welcome. They asked me if I would be the official greeter because I am cheerful. Well, you all are cheerful too, but I do love doing this and it's my pleasure. So Rudy, you want to do roll call? And
yes, that'd be great. Thanks, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Barbara from Santa Barbara.
Yes.
My better half is over here on the other part of the lake with me. And Dee is visiting us as usual from Illinois. Dee, great to see you. Of course, we got Barbara from Santa Barbara. Julie, great to see you tonight. And Julie is part of our club foundation, Rotary Foundation co-chair, and coming up with some really neat things to enhance our giving there. Charlie, good to see you tonight.
Thank you.
Connie, how are you?
Great. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Super. Great to have you. David, of course, you know David. He's our incoming president. He's our president right now.
Right now, it happened. I mean, here we are.
He's got.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Dan, here we are.
Yeah, that's right. He's down below 300. He's only 359 more days now. So, Marcia, great to see you tonight.
Thank you.
Brian, great to see you. Mr. City of Peace up in Ojai. Greg, you got your normal lounge chair. Glad you could join in with us tonight. We've got Nyron McLean on with us tonight. He's our district executive assistant governor. He's also in the Rotary Club of Riverside Sunrise, and he and his wife run a nonprofit called Planet Life. They have a series of homes that they help foster children, the most challenged ones that can't make it anywhere else. And so their organization is amazing, and his wife is a trauma therapist, and they do a tremendous job. So Nyron, thanks for being with us tonight. And Catherine from down under in Tomorrowland. Dan, I keep asking Catherine for our lottery numbers, but she won't give them to me. So, yeah, so I thought she would know already before they happen. So Emmanuel, he was our first club president 2 times in a row over in Santa Barbara. He's about to be the president of France. And we need to be on your team over there when you actually get elected over there. So we're
Long way, but
we're looking forward to that. We'll be a diplomat for you.
Right.
Lisa, are you staying warm over in Arizona?
Yeah, we have monsoons. It's 70 degrees.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Love the Grand Canyon.
There you go. Tim, how are you? Tim's in peace with us. Belinda, things warm up there?
Hey, Belinda.
Everything is great. Yeah, it's a little hot, but other than that, it's great.
Good. Anya, how are you?
Hey, nice.
Everything fine in the Bay Area?
Yes, near San Francisco.
Yeah. Dan, Anya is originally from Russia as part of our club, and she's in San Francisco, and she helps us with our meetings with the Russian clubs. Peter, great to see you. How are things in San Diego?
very good. Thank you very much.
Super.
Good to see all of you.
Adam, how's everything with Oxfam?
Good, busy as always.
I bet you're really busy right now. Marilyn, great to see you. Okay, who else we got on here? I think Dominique's in here. Dominique, how are you? Are you down in Haiti or you're up in New York?
Yeah, hi.
How are you?
I am very,
What?
no, I'm in Haiti.
You're in Haiti,
I'm
okay.
in Haiti, challenging, but we will get there one day. We will get there, challenging. But
Right.
we will get there one day. Talented. We will get there one day. It's back out of their house in the south. In Manchester, remember where we went for the
Right,
garbage?
right.
Okay, so we need your help. It's really bad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Dominique. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Scotty, good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Nice to see you, Rudy and Karen. So
Yeah.
we need your
Thank you.
help. Yes,
Scott-
yes.
Scotty, how are you?
Hey, we will get there one day too.
It's all good. Dennis, how are things over in Connecticut?
Thank you. Thank you.
Keeping the peace over there. And Dennis is heading up our Social Justice, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. So that's super. Arthur's on. Arthur, good to see you. What else we got on here? Anita, how are you?
We have very exciting
Good.
news.
I'm delinquent. It's great to be back. Thanks.
Great to have you back. All good. Kate, where are you joining us from?
Hi. I'm trying to get, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm doing fine. I'm wondering if anyone has heard from Sharon. I haven't.
She was traveling back from Russia, but I don't know if she's back in town yet. She should be back home, I think. Other
But
than
I've
that-
been invited here.
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you could join us. Super. Yeah, she was in St. Petersburg, and I'm understanding was that she should be home now. I have not talked to her since she came back home.
When did she leave?
Last week, towards the end of last week, I think. I believe so. I could be wrong, but I believe that's correct. So that's good. Richard, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. All good. And I think I've covered.
Did you get Peter?
I got Peter, yeah. If I missed anybody?
Let me say something when you get a chance. I don't know why my video is not working, but can I jump in there, Rudy?
Real quick.
This is Arthur, and today we're so happy because Martin Sheen and I were both on the Tom Hartman show. I put the link there in the chat.
Oh,
and
good.
not only did we get to talk about the movie, but he announced that he and I are working on developing a TV series based on Gary's book, My Country is the World. So you
Wow.
can take a look at that. It'll be a narrative TV series with actors playing Gary as he has his ventures around the world. And you can take a look at the link I put in the chat. I'm not sure why my
Thank you.
video isn't working. I'll try to get that working and be back with you guys shortly.
The world is mycountry.com talks. Okay,
Yeah.
we got it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Arthur. Thank you.
That's cool.
Watch the replay.
Super. Good stuff. And I've covered everybody here. So Dan gives you an idea of some of our club members here. David, back to you.
All righty. Well, I just want to say I'm just really excited. I'm delighted and truly honored to be president as we move into 21-22. And with this year, we have a tremendous leadership team that we've been developing and working together over the last several months. And what I really want to be doing is we have some very creative and innovative projects, local and global projects that we want to bring and have an opportunity for everyone. We've got an amazing club here with such experience and talents and knowledge, and to give everybody an opportunity to engage with the peace building. Our world needs all the assistance that we can, and Rotary is a great organization and entity, very respected, as we all know. And our contribution from the E-Club, Rotary E-Club of World Peace, really counts. And so we're going to have fun as well as a real engagement. So I'm looking forward to this year. So to begin with, when I count to 3, think of the best bell sound you've ever heard in your life. When I count to 3, listen to it, because I don't have a bell yet. So 1, 2, 3. There it is. Beautiful. Okay.
I feel the
Great.
vibration all the way here, David.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Got it. So, Rudy, please introduce Dan, and congratulations, Dan. This is a delight to begin our term together.
Thank you.
This is very exciting tonight. We're honored to have our Rotary District Governor for his first official visit in all the clubs in our district. Ours is the first one that gets our district governor to join us tonight, and which is really exciting. And we're excited to have
Ruth.
and we're excited to have Ruth over there, just like Karen sitting next to me here, his partner in crime, that keeps things running at the Goodrich house there, and supporting Dan in all his efforts, which is truly great. So it's great to see that. Which, as you know, that our Rotary year starts July 1 through June 30th. And so we've just kicked off the new Rotary year with a new club president, a new district governor, some new directors out there, and also a new Rotary International president. And tonight, Dan's going to speak to us. Dan was born about 100 miles from Toronto in Ontario, Canada. He was a naturalized citizen in 1982. He grew up in Michigan. In his childhood, you can probably tell he's a sports addict there, but he really loved baseball. And he got a baseball scholarship to Central Michigan University, and his bachelor's was in managerial information systems. He's currently a property manager for a 55 plus community. Not that any of us fit in that category, down in Hemet, doing a great job down there. I've got to let a couple more people in here as they come in, because they keep dropping off. The is doing a great job over there. He, as I said, loves baseball, but he also tries to hit that little white ball once in a while.
Recording in progress.
Around there, Arthur can mute there. He's recording me, I guess. So he likes to play golf a little bit once in a while. In his Rotary life, he was in 2011, he was club president for the Hemet Sunset Rotary Club in our district. That really kicked off his time. What he was really exciting was in 2014 through 2017, he was our district Rotary Foundation chair. And probably nobody in recent history in our district has more embraced learning and implementing everything about Rotary and the Rotary Foundation, from the giving side to the spending side and the grant process, than Dan. He really exemplified how to get your arms around it, learn it, share it, and promote our district, our Rotary Foundation, Rotary International Foundation, and it's doing a great job there. And as you know, in our club, in our district here, we've got the grant that we're going to support here and hopefully get funded here pretty quickly to handle human trafficking in our district down here, training about 50,000 students, which is protecting them, which is great. He's a Paul Harris Society member, a major donor to the Rotary Foundation, benefactor, and Bequest Society. So not only learning about it, he's invested in his charity of choice, which is the Rotary Foundation. And besides Ruth, they have a family of 3. So they have 3 dogs, Charlie, Daisy, and the newest one here, Bosco. And what was really interesting was we were on some training sessions for the district not too long ago, and the only one that couldn't get in happened to be our district governor, because Bosco decided to chew in half the connection for his internet, and so he lost his internet connection. And so Bosco, I guess thank you, and I'm glad it got repaired, and we're back. We're back together today. But Dan is really, his heart is in Rotary. Service is what he is about, and certainly his club is exactly that down in Hemet. And without further ado, Dan, take it away. You're embedded in service. Service is our theme this year, and so take it away, please.
Well, thank you, everybody, for having me tonight and showing up. It's always great to be able to talk to Rotarians about Rotary. And, you know, the funny thing is just to elaborate a couple of things. You know, when that internet connection went out, I was right at the point where we were supposed to be introducing the Rotary International Director in our youth. So Vicki Poulis is my, if you will call it, the district government boss, if you want to call it that. She's the director for our zone. And right in the middle of getting ready, or just in the beginning of getting ready to do it, internet went out. And I'm sure at some point down the road, that's going to be, it's already been brought up to me by the Rotary International Director and how funny that was. But I am sure that I'm the first and only governor can honestly say that his dog ate the internet. And, you know, we used to tell everybody, oh, the dog ate my paper, right? Well, this is actually true. And I'm sure that there'll be something down the road coming forth with that. But anyway, so what I thought I'd do tonight in the E-Club, first of all, you're very dynamic. You're amazing in your diversity and everything that you have moving in a lot of different directions. You have a lot of fingers branching out in different things. And obviously for me, peace and conflict resolution, our area of focus, is a huge passion, which is why we took on human trafficking to start with. But it's one of those areas in our world, and I feel like I'm preaching to the choir, where we just don't seem to have enough of. And there are many different things that come into that. And so I applaud you first and foremost for being the E-Club of World Peace, because I think it's very much needed. Now, I told Rudy I wasn't going to talk about district events because you guys are so scattered. I mean, it's one of those things that it's a little bit of a different conversation because we're on a Zoom meeting compared to being in person. But after we were sitting here talking about, you know, how official Greg was and his real badge, and Lisa showing, you know, police to peace, I was thinking, well, you know, we are actually having a golf tournament that is supporting the 20th anniversary. Well, it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11, so we're having it on 9/11, and we'll be honoring our first responders who work to protect us and keep us safe every day. So I thought, well, you know, if anything that would ever appeal to the E-Club, this might hit home. There's a few of us in this club that do reside here in the district. So if you're a golfer, or even if you're not, if you want to come out on 9/11 and have a good time with us over in the east end of the district, honoring our first responders, let me know. We've got opportunities for all kinds of things. Even if you just want to do a service project and come out and volunteer for the event, down to being a sponsor or playing golf in itself. But the information you can find is on the district website, which is Rotary District 5330, or Rotary5330.org, sorry. And it's right underneath the events. That'll be the only thing that I'll talk about on events today, other than, well, we will talk about World Polio Day, because foundation is also in my heart, and World Polio Day is always on the exact same day of the year. Does anybody know when World Polio Day is? Rudy, don't say anything. Karen, please, no.
October.
Okay. October, you're right month. 24th. I'll give the tenths away. It's October 24th. So David, I noticed some of your goals. Okay, I did my homework on you. I see that you got your goals in there. So I would encourage your club as a whole, as a unit, to consider making your donations on World Polio Day, because the matches are better. Okay, not that I want that to be the only day you give to polio, but you do get to benefit a little bit more out of that.
Great.
So what is Rotary? You know, I thought I would approach this by, you know, David sent me a prearranged couple things in how I visioned the year through both Rotary International President and my vision. So I'm going to do a what, why, and then circle back. Okay. And so what is Rotary? Well, you know, the standard answer from Rotary is, well, we're 1.2 million members, we're in 200 countries, and we serve humanity and provide education with guiding principles. And so our guiding principles are the object of Rotary. For one, most of us know the four-way test, but not many of us could recite the object of Rotary. So summarizing the object of Rotary is to encourage and foster ideal of service, which we are all in the service industry. We are in the service business in Rotary. As a basis of worthy enterprise, in particular to encourage and foster, develop an opportunity of service of high ethical standards in our business and our profession. We recognize all our occupations with dignity and each occupation as an opportunity to serve. Now I have to remember I'm looking at the camera because I keep looking at your screen. But where we carry this ideal of service in our professional business and community is where we can unite this ideal of service to advance our international understanding of goodwill, peace, and fellowship. And that's where you guys fit in, right? We have this ability to really advance our international understanding of goodwill, peace, and world fellowship. That's our object of Rotary in a nutshell. Now, some would say, well, it is the four-way test because our four-way test is a nonpartisan, non-sectarian ethical guide for which our Rotarians use in their personal and professional lives. We live by a high ethical standard. We have our avenues of service: club service, vocational service, community service, international service, and youth service. And so for me, community service and youth service have always been the ones that hit me. And I think a lot of it is just because how I got into Rotary, why I got into Rotary, and we all have that reason. We all have different ideas why we believe Rotary is the greatest thing. For me, it just happens to be those. But we'll talk about my why a little bit later. But are we not more than this? That's the question I have. You know, I've been to Rotary around the world, different countries, all over the district, different districts. And I see Rotary not only as a service group of like-minded people, as they say, working together and collaborating, but you know, together, what do? We laugh together. We sometimes cry together. We sing together. Now, not everybody sings I don't know if you guys sing, but some Rotary clubs sing, right? Some clubs, Dee will tell you that it is club. They like to sit down and eat together. Right? If you're a sit-down club, you're eating together. Sometimes we struggle together. We celebrate together. And unfortunately, sometimes we mourn together. And so to me, what Rotary is family. When you think about all the things I just said, laugh, cry, sing, eat, struggle, celebrate, mourn, those are all characteristics of a family. We care for one another. We care for each other. And because of that, we have these strong relationship ties. I've seen it everywhere. I've been to Indonesia. My wife is from Indonesia. I went to a Rotary club in Indonesia. Couldn't speak the language for nothing. I'm still learning. After 14 years of almost marriage, I'm not fluent by any means. But I walk in there and what do? The first thing, boom, they got their arms up. They're ready to hug me. And I'm a part of that group just because I have a pin. This pin. So you can walk into any Rotary club anywhere and you can feel welcome. Now, for me, that's what Rotary is. It's all of us together. We're in it together. We serve together. We make a difference. And our family is strong. It's not just in our district, as this club can point out. You're spread out Africa, Australia, Europe, United States, all over the place. Look at the camaraderie that you have right here on this screen around the country and around the world. We have our Russian connection here, right? We've got people focusing on different aspects to change lives all over the world, and you're working together to make that happen. That is a super, super strong family. So I applaud you. I mean, I really applaud you because you were not only were you the leaders in this, but you don't realize how much you helped this district. Do you know you were the original Zoom? Nobody even knew what Zoom was in our district until the pandemic hit. And you know who became one of the most popular people in the district at that point? Rudy. Hate to say it. You know, I don't want him to get a big head or anything, but Rudy had all the answers. You know, he's been putting on Zoom meetings forever, right? And you've all been participating in them for a very long time. So not only were you working around the world to change lives, you changed the lives of 2,000 Rotarians in our own district because we had very little idea how to pull it off. How are we going to accomplish this? How could we keep each other engaged? Now, we did that in a very difficult time. Everybody knows that this pandemic has been crazy. Nobody knew that it was going to last as long as it did. Nobody knew if it was going to be, when it would end, or what the results would be. And we're still fighting it around the world. So it's not over yet. We have a lot of work to do in that area. But we do what we do. And each of us focuses on different things. So I would only ask as I finish up the what conversation, is that maybe you keep that whole family thing in mind and remember that our family is suffering from COVID in other parts of the world. And we can do what we can do, but let's try to help those as well. Okay. And so then I'm going to go to, and the reason why I, am going what and why is because it's typically the two questions I get asked the most. What is Rotary? And why would you be in Rotary? Well, why Rotary? Well, a few years ago, they said, because we're people of action and we do service. So let's talk about that for just a second. Rotary has 4 priorities now. They want us to increase our impact with effective problem solving. This group has problem solvers you got a whole arm length of people that are problem solvers. You are fitting the mold here. It's 7 o'clock. You've got folks in your Rotary Club that have taken on issues that only some of us could think about doing. But you've either lived it, been in it, involved with it, experienced it, but you're doing it. And you're doing it from your heart. So we need to seek out and find ways to make that difference. I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but you're the role model in this particular area in serving your communities and especially around the globe because of your diversity. You're already there. We have made measurable impact through our leadership and efforts in eradicating polio. Our polio cases are we only have 2 cases so far, right? So we're making leaps and bounds. It would be wonderful if, polio was behind us and we could continue to do that. So let's continue our efforts there. And when we talk about impact, what our President Shaker's talking about is doing more meaningful, impactful projects. Things that really make an impact, that make a difference. So I don't think your club does anything small. I really don't. You're on a larger scale than some because of the way and I'll contribute that to the way your diversity and the way your club is structured. It's a little different, coming into a city where you might do a cleanup or whatever. But even in your club, you have people that are handing out food, you have people that are doing cleanups. So you're doing community service projects as well. But Shaker is trying to get us to focus on projects that make sense. Reevaluate our projects. We have clubs that have always done things the way we've done it. That old saying, well, that's the way we've always done it. But does the way we've always done it make sense today? It might be your signature project, but there could be something different that might be more meaningful and more impactful. And that's the stress point of that point. Okay. Priority number 2 is to expand our reach, to activate, inspire, and encourage one another, motivate. Now, if you've heard President Shaker talk, he talks about doing more and growing more and motivating and inspiring. He's an exceptional speaker. So he wants us to build our connections with opportunities that will allow us to serve who we share and drive to do the same by increasing our membership. Now, I'm going to talk about your guys' statistics a little bit later, okay? But that's what he's talking about, expanding our reach, building our connections, partnering and collaborating, giving us some opportunities where we can share in our drive to do the same, you know, finding like-minded people, but also increasing our membership. Now, this does not necessarily need to be just in Rotary. That's the other side of the box, okay? Forget the box. There is no box anymore. We don't need to partner just with Rotary. You've got organizations that you're partnering with right here, and you found them to be very successful. But I joked in on my speech a little bit when I was, you know, at the district conference. It was also a Zoom. And I said, look, you know, I don't know if you guys have been told, but it's okay to partner with the Lions and the Kiwanis. They're not bad people. They're service organizations just as well. There's groups that you can connect with. So expanding our reach. Then our third priority, by expanding our reach, allows us to enhance our participation engagement, which allows us to understand the needs of others. So let's recommit to putting the needs and expectations and growth of our participants at the center of what we do. I'm sure that Rudy has done this in your club, otherwise you probably wouldn't be here. But I can't imagine that not at some point did somebody say, what is your passion? What do you care about? And how can we support you? That's what we're talking about. Putting our members at the center of attention, letting them know that what they care about is also what we care about. Now that can also apply to our beneficiaries. So if you're providing support, services, anything that you're doing to an organization or another group, it's also really good to understand what their needs are, right? That way you better serve them. But let's focus on recommitting. Let's do that. Let's focus on committing to meeting the needs and expectations of not just our own Rotarians, but as also of our beneficiaries. Sorry, people are emailing me at the same time and it interrupted me. Now with that comes change, right? And we're change makers. So if we're going to be change makers, we have to have the ability to adapt on the fly sometimes. So let's stay true to ourselves though while we do this and stay ahead of the change. Now, I don't think, perhaps, it's facetious to me to say this, but when the pandemic hit, did your club structure change? Not much. You went out and found some dynamic speakers and you brought in people to help you foster some of that in. I know, because I was on a couple of them. Okay. But the rest of most of the Rotary world had to adapt. In fact, it adapted so much that we're now calling them hybrid meetings in a lot of cases, right? We have sit-down meetings with the ability to zoom in at the same time. So I was joking, and this is just a little sidebar, but I have about a $750 conference phone sitting on a conference table that seats 13 people in my boardroom where I work. I got a 70-inch television sitting on the wall that I used to use for display. You think I'm using that phone anymore? No, that's a wasted space at this point. Zoom or GoToMeeting or whatever other ones you might be using is a way of our life. I think moving forward, it's never going away at this point. It's changed us. So we've already adapted to that. Now, so let's kind of reiterate. We want to do more and we want to grow more. Now, there's a lot of need out there. You guys are addressing some of it. Other clubs are addressing other needs. But we talked about doing more meaningful projects, increasing our projects to do larger, impactful things, grow our membership, increase our participation, and have the ability to adapt. Membership is our most vital organ. Without it, we don't have any life. Without members, we don't have clubs. Without clubs, we don't have districts. Without districts, we don't have zones. Without zones, we don't have Rotary. Okay? It really is everyone's job to participate in growing membership. Each one, bring one, is the RI presidential theme by Shaker. He wants us to focus on this. Everybody just bring one person. Introduce them to Rotary. Does that seem difficult? No, not when I'm looking at your club because I've seen your growth. But it's something that we can't lose focus of. We really need to concentrate our efforts on membership. Our district is struggling in membership. Your club is doing awesome, by the way, but the district as a whole is not. So I applaud you for what you've done. Keep up the great work, okay? And give to the Rotary Foundation. Now, I'm a little biased here. Rotary's, Rudy's already introduced me as being the DRFC a few years ago. And yes, that's pretty much where I cut my teeth in district work. And I found it to be very satisfying, very heartfelt and warming because I looked at all of the great things that I could accomplish through the Rotary Foundation to make a difference in our youth, in our women, and around the world. Now, I've done a few projects here that everybody looks at and kind of applauds me for doing grants back here because a lot of our grants are across and overseas, and there's nothing wrong with that because there's a great need outside of the United States as well. But our Rotary Foundation really, in my humble opinion, becomes the wheel of how our clubs move our projects forward. We have the ability to leverage our dollars through the Rotary Foundation, making them larger than what we gave. And, our human trafficking grant, for example, that Rudy talked about, 150 schools, plus schools, 50,000 students, $163,000 grant. It's really concentrated in Riverside and San Bernardino counties. Our district as a whole and your club participated in giving $65,000 is what we gave. We turned $65,000 into $163,000. So that's what I'm talking about. You have the ability to really do that and leverage. And I don't know of any other investment that you could possibly get that kind of yield on your return of yield on your investment. And let me tell you, you can do this. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do this. It takes commitment. It takes time, but it's not impossible. Trust me, if I can do it, you can do it. There are people who will help you through the process. I look to the day when the E-Club of World Peace does a global grant in its own name. I do. I think that is a great success story for not only your club, but for Rotary because of what you focus on. I really do. And I know you can do it and you're getting there. You are getting there. And like Shaker, I'll encourage you to dream big with goals that will not only grow your membership, giving us the ability to increase our service, but inspire the communities that you work in. You're in many different communities, but one of the things that we do is so great of what we accomplish and what we do, but I don't think we do a great job at telling people. We need to focus better on branding and what we do. We're the best kept secret. I know. I'm amazed. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Back in 2010, 2011, somebody asked me to come join Rotary, and I was that first guy. Well, what's Rotary, right? Same question I answered earlier. What's Rotary? And the answer I got was, we do a lot of community service and we support our kids with scholarships and, you know, those types of things. And so I firmly believe that we can do this through our service. Okay. So let's work on our service and brand that out, and people will get it. It'll filter through. It's grassroots. It takes a little bit of time, but it'll work. And you know, the saying is, service, all of us will change, not only those we serve, but also us within. Right. I firmly believe that. I've been changed. My life has been changed. Of course, I've drank the Rotary Kool-Aid and I've been bitten by the Rotary bug. But I really do believe that we have changed so much, not only around the world, but in ourselves. I'm a better person today because I'm in Rotary. So I ask you all to live for others and care for others and to serve others. Now, many of you know that I've said that, and Rudy kind of alluded to this, but that I've always been in service and in youth and women also. So I encourage us, and I'm glad Nyron's on the call here today, because Nyron is my executive assistant governor, and Nyron and I have a connection. But I encourage us to focus on disadvantaged youth in our district. Now, you may be not residing here in 5330, so please try to encourage you to focus on disadvantaged youth wherever you might reside. You know, maybe that is a foster care program. It could be after school tutoring or mentoring or working with handicapped children, providing needs for school supplies, clothing, or food on the weekends to these kids. I truly believe, and a lot of this, you know, I'll be a little personal, is that my upbringing wasn't so great. And I won't get into a lot of detail about that, but I will tell you that to me, the youth is our future, and the playing field was never created equal. So let's work on that. Let's try to level it a little bit. Let's give them a fighting chance. Now, I encourage you to work and empower women as well. Let us fight for gender equality. I applaud you for your DEI. I really do. Afford women the right to an education, provide water for their families, microloans to help them start a business, help a new mom with basic essentials. And my passion, of course, is to support girls and women in a crisis, which is why I focus on human trafficking. And I talked about a little bit earlier, you know, I want to share with the group that right here in our district, I'm working on getting some funding for victims on trafficking in our district. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to raise too much expectations, but I'm so hopeful that this will happen. But please pray and keep your fingers crossed for me that this could be a really big deal for us, because we're talking corporate partners right here in our own district that would be helping us provide some funding. And they're not small companies, and you've eaten at one of them, I'm sure, during your lifetime. And so when I also think about why, I think about why am I in Rotary? And each of us here may or may not have what I call the aha moment. What gave you the bug? What bit you to keep you here? And so I want to tell you a personal story. And Rudy alluded to in 14 through 17, I was the Rotary Foundation chair. And let me just say that in that year, in 2014-15, that was the first year that I served as the foundation chair. I was the first Rotarian in our district that wasn't a past district governor to serve in this position. Now, this was a very controversial decision, okay? And let's just say that it was hard to overcome from some of the district leadership and the past district leadership of the district at the time. You know, change can be hard, right? So it was a different thing. And it never happened before. And I happened to be the guy that was like, you're it, push you out there. Okay. Now I had only been in Rotary, honestly, for about 4 to 5 years at that time. And I was trying to find my place. I had been president 2 times. But I got to honestly tell you that even though the first time I was president, Rudy was actually one of my trainers. I'm going to digress a little bit. Rudy, do you know Rudy made an example out of me at Pets? Every time I would go into Rudy's class, he'd make me stand up and answer, because Rudy knew that the first time I was president, I'd only been in Rotary for about 6 months. But Rudy is a very good trainer. He's an extremely good trainer. And he was allowing me to learn by participation. So I applaud Rudy. Thank you, Rudy, because I never forgot that, though. Just want you to know, I'm still, back here, I still think about you in that aspect. But because I'd only been in Rotary for, about 4 or 5 years at that time, I was trying to find my place. Okay. So needless to say, I was feeling a little unsure about my ability or whether or not this was right for me, whether I had made a mistake to take on this position. Now, Rudy said he really wrapped his arms around it and embraced it. Well, I'm an information junkie. I try to read every day. I feel like if I don't learn something every day, it's kind of wasted. That's just me. Okay, so, and I'm also very numbers oriented because my managerial information system background and minors are in accounting and finance. So numbers are something that I do. But the Rotary Foundation was a whole different animal, right? And with the controversy of being the first person who hadn't been a governor and taking on the aspect of trying to figure out what this was and how to do it, to be able to stand in front of a club and teach them was a little bit of a challenge. But one day, Jean Brownie, who was the wife of a past district governor in our district, asked me if I would come and speak to the Beaumont Early Act Club. Now, are you all familiar with what Early Act is? They're all little ones. They're 8 years old, these people. I went to the class and there was an 8-year-old boy by the name of Carl. Now, I was presenting this Rotary Foundation global grant that was going to benefit children in Bangladesh. The project was called Floating Schools. Now, some of you might have heard of it. It's gotten a lot of great coverage. In fact, the gentleman that created it is now a Nobel Peace Prize winner. And, there's been all kinds of highlights. It's been on TV and news and media, print, everywhere, right? But this Floating Schools project is in Bangladesh, as I said, and what it is there was a need for a project because there's these rivers that flood out during the monsoon season. And it disrupts the entire area from school, food, medical, everything. And I began to show the slides of the water rising and the flooding and how the kids were walking to boats because the grant focused on building these boats that allowed them to go to school, allowed them to have medical, had a library, they grew gardens on a boat. And so as I'm showing these slides, these children are walking on the boats and they're going to school. I show the pictures of inside the boat. There's kids sitting on the floor with paper in front of them, and they're sharing a pencil back and forth. Now I end my presentation, okay? And the kids begin to talk about the difference in the classrooms that they are sitting in compared to the children in Bangladesh. Now it's at this point that I'm listening and I'm kind of taking all this in, that this little boy, Carl, becomes a leader. He stands up in front of me in a very dominant voice and he says, Mr. Goodrich, we need to help these kids. He's 8 years old. no filter, but he just stands right up and says, we need to help these kids. And he turns to his club and he begins saying things like, we can raise money using our pennies for pencil program. I don't know what that is, but they have a program, right? We can sell popcorn on movie day. And the club commits to helping these children in Bangladesh. So my throat has a lump, and right now my hair is standing up on my arms. But my throat has this big lump in it, and my eyes begin to well up. The difference we make in the world through our service and the impact that we have on our youth have never stopped amazing me. But you know, it was really on this day that I saw the youth making a difference in the world. Doing service, and I saw that through the leadership of an 8-year-old boy named Carl. You see, I was out doing Rotary service and I ran across a brilliant youth club, and together we changed others' lives, as well as the lives of the children in Bangladesh. Now, Carl is in Interact now. And I've actually kept in touch with Carl a little bit. He's a sophomore, so next year he's hoping he can get to go to RILA. So I'm a little bit, I wished he was about a year older, because he would have hit RILA possibly the year that I was governor and we could have met up at RILA. But it looks like he will be, at least trying to get to RILA. His life has been changed because of Rotary and a global grant. Now, the ending of this comes to a point where I go through my year and I come into the end. It's around the end of May and school is ready to come to an end. They invite me back. I've been to some of the largest fundraisers that we have in our district. Corona is famous for a lobster fest. They raise over $100,000 in a day. They have a bunch of nonprofits that all combine together and they make this huge event and they raise $100,000 in a day. I've been to Temecula, California, where they have something called Taste of the World. And they have all the wineries come in and all the local restaurants, and they put it inside of this big ballroom at the Pechanga Casino, and people buy tickets and they sell they have auctions, they have all kinds of stuff. They raise anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000 generally in a day. But on this day, in the end of May, I was given a check for $300 by 8-year-olds. My life has never been the same. It changed me so much that I knew I'd found my why. It was to help the youth, and it was to make a difference in the world. It's kept me in Rotary this whole time. And every time my wife and I do something that affects the youth, I think that's another life of service coming down the road. We create opportunities for our youth. You have that same ability. You're working in many different things, your music programs, for example. Okay. So I'm going to come back to your club now. So President David, off to a flying start, sends me an email. David, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but this is what he wrote me. He said, given that we are the Rotary E-Club of World Peace, what role can we play in manifesting President Shaker's vision? Do more, grow more, and empower women. Well, here's what I got. You meet monthly with the St. Petersburg Russian Rotary Club. And don't ask me how to pronounce that word, Rudy. You are an international sponsor of new peace-based Rotary Club in that town. How do you pronounce that town?
Vladivostok.
Exactly. That's what I said. Vladivostok. I'll try that one later. Okay. You are doing that. That is a vision. You are growing. You are sponsoring a club in another part of the world, and you're meeting with them. You're mentoring them. You are growing Rotary. You're partners in a global grant in India on vision care centers and in Bangladesh on healthcare centers for the needy. You're doing meaningful, impactful projects. You also contributed to the human trafficking grant right here in our district. You are meeting those visions. By the way, when you put that DDF in that human trafficking grant, you fulfilled part of my vision, which was the second part of his question. Similarly, what role can we play in manifesting your vision for District 5330? That was the second question he asked me. Well, you put DDF into that trafficking grant, so I'm going to give you credit for both one, Shaker's vision, and two, my vision. And I hate to use the word mine. I really don't say, oh, it's my year. It's really our year. I don't want people to think that I'm the governor that's in my year. I hear that so much, presidents, governors, they say, in my year, I did this, right? Well, in our year, we're going to do this, okay? We're working together here. You have a music, with music changing lives, and a member in your club has been handing out 20 to 40,000 pounds of produce every week to serve those in San Bernardino. How could that not be meaningful? And it's not only done that, it's engaged participation. You've expanded your reach into San Bernardino to help the people who need food. He's done it through, it says he's done this through a pandemic, started and plans to continue well into the future. Some is shared all the way to Palm Springs. So not only is it San Bernardino, but it's reached into Riverside County. So you have Peace Fellows in your club, Peace Corps members in your club. You support Shelter Box, okay? You have committees on social justice and DEI. You have I just found out you have an Olympian thinking, okay? I mean, wow. So, and I think she said she was a two-time Olympian, right? I don't know if I got that, if I heard that correctly, but let me tell you a few other things that you might not know. And Barbara, please don't get a big head here, okay? Past president, immediate past president. But your foundation giving last year was 129% of your goal. You sent $3,884 to the Rotary Foundation. Congratulations. Your giving per capita was $70.62. Your current goal is $4,000. David, I think you might be aiming a little low, buddy. I'm just saying. Okay. Never be afraid to shoot for the stars, David. Okay. Dream big.
Pick it up.
Okay. I think you can shoot higher on that one. The same with your polio goal. You entered a goal of 1,875. And you have 82 members. According to, I'm a little confused about this because your DACDB membership shows more than your Rotary membership for right now. So Rudy, I know you're the DACDB guy for the club. I believe you are anyway. Might want to check your member.
That's with honorary members. So.
Check your member compare. Make sure you don't have any errors. But that's your goal based on the number of your members is an average of $22 a year per member. Now, if I could make you dream big and encourage you to do more, I would encourage you to try to meet the RI goal, which is $50 a member. Shoot big. You might not get it, but if you don't throw it out there, and you'll never will, because people, once they reach 22 or whatever, think, well, I already gave polio. Okay. And possibly there's a new thing called the Polio Society members, which is $100. If somebody gives $100, you get a new pin. You're all pin collectors. Get yourself a Polio Society pin. It's $100. If you give $100, you become a Polio Society member, and I will make sure that we get you that pin. Now, hooray! Membership. #1 in the district. #1 growth in the entire district, netting 27 members. Now, this is what our Rotary International president's really looking at, right? He's talking about grow our members to 1.3 million members, right? So I see that you have a goal, David, of 100, and I commend you for that projected increase. 18 members in any year is an awesome goal for any club. I know you're going to hit it. I feel you're going to hit it. I'm hoping that you're going to hit it before the end of the year and you'll be adjusting up. But that is an aggressive goal, and I commend you for it because I think you're going to get there. I really believe that the people in this club can make that happen.
We will.
I wish I could clone you amongst the 61 other clubs. I really do. If I could clone you in this particular aspect, I'd be like, all right, you know, we're rolling. But here's something else, okay? And this just is something I was thinking about you as a club, okay? We have something called new club development. Now, one area that I'm not sure that you have thought about is having a branch or a satellite club. And I'm throwing this at you tonight. I'm very optimistic that our human trafficking grant could be a conduit for more members in this e-club. I really do, because this e-club is focusing on that area. It's peace and conflict resolution. You're the peace club. I think we can drive members out of this grant because you're so convenient to be on Zoom. We can drive more members that way, which is another reason why I think you're going to hit 18, no problem. But it is also a possibility that we might be able to start a cause-based club on human trafficking in this district, which could be a branch of this club, only having individuals focusing on maybe human trafficking. Now, I know that obviously that's aggressive. And, you know, I know the peace and conflict area focus would hopefully branch and expand, and you could grow and begin to tackle this global problem. I don't know, maybe you're up for that challenge from the governor. But if you can, you can. And if you can't, you can't. But I think there's a possibility there. I really do. I think this human trafficking grant that we're doing here is going to have a substantial impact. And I think because of the way you meet, you're going to have the ability to do that. North America, by the way, is struggling in membership growth. It's declines. We've lost 274 members in our district in the last 2 years. That's why I applaud you for your net. Honestly, if it wasn't for your club and a couple others, the district would be in bad shape financially. This year, you literally helped hold it up. There was a creation of an Eastvale club, gave us about 20 some members right off the bat, and then your club 27. Had that not happened, we would have lost 160, 170 more members this year. And that's huge from a district finance.
We had last year.
So we need to focus on that a little bit. That's why we're, you know, our Rotary International president says each one bring one. You know, he wants us to focus on membership. So I think that your club is dynamic in so many aspects in what you do around the world, how you get your members and how you do your service and the things you focus on. I'm just elated with the number of experts in here and the amount of diversified knowledge that you have, not only in our district, but around the world in other countries and how you meet. It's mind-boggling to me how this started, and I'm hoping one of these days, Rudy and I will sit down and have a cup of coffee, and he's going to tell me that it really was created out of a peace conference, which is also something that he put together, and he's kind of famous for. So I think overall, I couldn't ask much more of you. Just a few things, you know, maybe if you're trying to meet my vision, President David, you know, if we could up our goals a little bit in giving, and, you know, I know you're going to make your membership goal. I don't have any trouble with that. I think you're well on your way. And, you know, maybe think about how that cause-based club could come into play, because I think that's going to be something that works in your favor as a club. And let me clone you somehow. You guys got any DNA I could take from you? I'd be willing to set up a vaccine line over here. We'll just call it membership vaccine. And we'll we'll go forward with the other 61 clubs in our district. So with that, that's really all I've got. I wish there was more I could give you, but I think I would be asking way too much of you because you're already doing so much. So,
Dan, this was really appreciate you joining us tonight and you making our club your first visit of your governor's year. We're gonna have a great year, and almost every member here is really embraces youth and how we can and work through service for our youth and growing our youth. They're our future, and so we're on board with you there and in some of these other areas. So it's going to be a great year, David.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for highlighting a couple of things that we could take a look at in upping our focus and goals. And I really appreciate also what you're saying about being a family, and which is true. And I think it's also something to consider or think about more. Because that's true, but to really think about that and how do we expand that, or how do that. How, if we really focus on that, what becomes more or different, or how do we build upon that? Because I think that's really wonderful, expanding the family. So thank you very much for your thoughts and wisdom. And, I think as you're talking about how to, help other clubs, perhaps it's, through inspiration, or, you talk about how do we engage with the district in other ways. Because I do have some questions about the role of district and how we can, expand the family feeling. So thank you.
Well, send me all your questions.
Well, it looks like I'm going to have to join. I think I qualify.
Aha.
Hey.
Hey.
If you accept a 90-year-old with a past history.
That's great. And
Fantastic. Welcome.
Sharon, we missed you.
We see, there we go. Now it's at 17, Dan.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you that one. You're going to stay at 18. No. No, that's great. Thank you, Caitlin. Absolutely. They're going to accept you with welcome arms, and that's because that's what Rotary does.
Well, he was very convincing. How can I resist?
Yeah. And Dan, here's our secret. Every time we have a speaker, we always say, are you a Rotarian?
Oh.
And say no, we say, well, we're the club you might want to consider joining. And we have these fabulous people who speak to us, see our enthusiasm for them, and they become enthusiastic and join us. So that's just a little hint you can pass on.
And we also have, someone like Marilyn King, who is so on fire. She's bringing her whole community in.
Well, I'm telling you what, I hope to meet you one day, because I don't think I've ever met an Olympian. So I'll see you in Houston, I hope. So
Yeah, invite her to speak to your club. She has a lot to say.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's
well,
good.
I might do that. I know my club's program chair is always looking for people to speak.
Hey, Dan, we are actively promoting Houston, so we're looking forward. Many of our members are already signed up, ready to go. And it's an opportunity for us in our club here, especially for folks that haven't seen physically other Rotarians, to meet with 30,000 from around the world and embrace the world of Rotary.
Well, let me tell you too, I'm hoping, and not hoping, I am going to, I don't do hope, I do. So we're working on partnering with District 5300 to put on a barbecue. Texas is famous for barbecue. So we're going to have a barbecue dinner one of those nights. We're trying to determine which night might be the best. But just know that we're going to have a big gathering of, probably a couple hundred people at a barbecue somewhere down in Houston. So look forward to that, and you can get together and meet other people in the district as well.
Great. Wonderful. We'll do it.
All right. What am I missing? Did I miss anything, Rudy? Do you want to tell me anything?
No, I think you knocked it out of the park, buddy. It was great. We're looking forward. We get a few members here in our live in the district that are going to participate with Pride and Ryla. as well. And we already funded a student for Ryla, so we'll have another student coming this next year in the spring. And Marilyn King, our Olympian, is going to join us. We're looking at working on using her Olympic thinking. She already works with youth up in Oakland, challenge youth up there, and working with some clubs up in that area to enhance that process. But also I've asked her to visit Ryla and observe the program here, and then we can see if there's something that may fit for future Ryla and or Pride classes in learning from what she can teach.
Hi. So can I ask my executive assistant if I missed anything? Did I leave something out I should have maybe mentioned, being that this is my first speech in front of?
That's for you, Nyron.
Yeah, you're muted, Nyron. There you go.
Well, it would help if I could control my fingers. That's the first issue. But, so you're obviously off to a much better start than me. But I thought you hit it out of the park too. Just talking about your why, I think is it was re-inspiring to me, because everybody has to fit. What is your why? And I related to that story and just so much of what brought me serendipitously to Rotary, but what's kept me in Rotary is the why and the people. And so no, I think you knocked it out of the park myself, my friend. So Governor, you did a great job.
Well, it's my first time speaking, and I wanted some not my first time speaking, but my first club visit. So I'm open to feedback, because if there's any questions about anything I said, or if there's any questions at all in general, one of the things came to, how could you be more involved with the district? Well, let me give you a list, President David. What would you like to do?
Well, just learn more, and also because we also are bringing in, like from Australia with Catherine, the Peace Advocate Project, working with young people, train them in how to deal with conflict and be a peace builder in their schools and so on. I mean, that's something we could share within the district in new ways. So there's a lot of cross-fertilization we can do.
All right, that's a good idea. I don't know how I put Catherine in front of those unified people, but we'll see if we can't figure something out for that. That's a great program, right? So
what was that you said, DG Dan? You don't know how to do it?
No, what I'm saying is, in order for us to pull that off in front of our youth, one of the avenues that we have here is to be able to put you in front of the unified school districts and the schools themselves. So you're actually right there where they're at. They're captive that way. And it could be a program that might be offered through the school.
Yeah, well, it is. All it takes is for someone in a Rotary club to have a connection with a high school or a primary school, and for them to want to drive the program. Because you need, it's a bit like Interact, in that you need a teacher or someone in the school, to be alongside. But it's a facilitated program. It's not about teaching.
We have more Interact clubs in our district than we have Rotary clubs.
Yeah, we probably have more than any other district. And Dan, in our club, we have what Catherine's working on there, but also Paul Chappelle with peace literacy, and two other members of his team are members in our club. And so we have that to draw on, and Marilyn King's work with youth. So we have several people here we can draw on in a variety of avenues that we could impact our district in our Interact clubs, I believe.
And you're also talking about Josiah. He's the one that, 40,000 pounds of food.
Right.
Josiah has this amazing program with kids, art and music.
Correct.
Yeah.
I love it. I love all that. I think
that's in our district, Dan.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, just the programs that you're talking about. I mean, think about the impact that you could have on the youth if we could roll that out.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that we could do to help shape our youth that way. There's power in that stuff. There's a lot of power in what you're saying, and empowering kids to do better in life keeping them out of trouble, is a great thing, and giving him an opportunity. So I love that idea. I don't, Rudy, we need to, and David, we probably need to sit down and talk a little bit about how maybe we can roll some of that out into our interact groups.
That'd be great if
Yeah,
we could
good.
arrange three of us to connect here, and then we'll connect with the youth chairs.
Absolutely.
Great, yeah.
Perfect.
Well, and along that line, next week, a week from tonight, is when we're going to really be highlighting all the things that we're lining up with our leadership team, introducing the leadership team, highlighting the big goals that we have. So it's going to be a very informative and energized evening in a week.
Okie dokie.
Hey,
We
Kate,
are-
Kate, before you leave, I need your email address.
And can I have yours, I think, so I'll email it to you.
That'd be great. Thank you so much, Kate.
Kate, I would like to welcome you to Rotary.
Thank you. It's all your fault.
You're my first new member.
There you go.
I like being first.
There you go.
But you're number
Yeah.
one. You're number one in our book. Okay.
That's right. And Dan, you're on a roll.
I'm on a roll. Huh? If I get one out of every club, I'd probably be okay.
You'll be all right. You'll be doing fine.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Thank
any
you.
other questions?
Very inspiring tonight. And you really did hit all of the points, including the code of ethics. You didn't call it that, but bringing our skill levels to the club is what we all do. And when we first started out in my year, we came up with a mission statement, and we are all active peacemakers in our own right. I'm president of the United Nations Association. If you look around, every one of us is doing something for peace, and Rotary too. So we bring our skill level to the group. We support each other. And as you said, and I really appreciated it, we are a family, and we wouldn't miss any of our meetings. Thank you, Dan, for tonight. It was wonderful.
Well, I want to thank you for having me and being so kind to me. Rudy could have been a lot worse. I mean, he's got a lot more stories than what he just told us.
All right. Well, we're going to
Hey.
say goodnight and wish you well as your year as our district governor. We want to hear from you at the end of the year and tell us all your successes.
Our successes, Barbara.
I love that, our successes.
Very
Absolutely.
definitely. Okay. A year from now.
A
All
year.
right.
Right on, David.
A little less.
David, I wish you the very best year. I can hardly wait to see what you're going to do. And it's
But we're going to do. And that's for sure.
we are a family, what we are going to do. Thank you.
Yep.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night,
And
everybody.
Sharon,
night.
great to see you're back from Russia. So
We
Yes.
miss you.
got home safely. Sharon, great to see you.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Thanks again.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
Dan.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.